back, guys, to Kick Like a Girl podcast. It is episode 22. We have Olivia Bramley with us today. We have our tea.
We do.
Yes.
Can't stop that cup of tea.
Very on trend for Olivia. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. It's nice to be back in Adelaide for a little bit.
Yes.
Which has been nice. Been back a few weeks now. And then only a couple more weeks left.
I know, it's very sad. It's treasuring every moment I can. Mate, you coming to training? Tell us a little bit before we get into the football, what you do outside of work, your PhD. You are very intelligent.
Oh,
those that didn't know.
I don't know if I'm that intelligent.
Yes,
I think
you
I
are.
just really try really
Don't
hard.
be too modest.
Just really keen.
You are driven too, but
yeah,
you know,
it's always a struggle. So I do a PhD obviously outside of football in environmental sustainability in sport. So trying to look at how sport organisations and the industry collectively can be more environmentally sustainable and sort of what that looks like, because we're seeing it a lot more. Like a lot more solar panels on stadiums or recycling bins and people talking about it, and it's lots about fossil fuel sponsorships, etc. But really, like, how is sport changing? And I think it's more about how we consume sport and trying to create more change. So that's what my PhD focuses on, like that real big push for bigger and better change, really.
nice. And where are you on? Are you on track? When are you hoping to finish?
So I had like my second milestone in February, and then I found out I had a little bit longer than I thought. So this time next year should be submission time.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've done it for like 2 years and a bit now. This time next year. I'm not too sure how that's going to go. It's just like, it's strange because like you just live in a dual life. So I do actually have a lot of time, because I think if I did my PhD like really constantly and like full time, I'd go a bit crazy. But yeah, I don't know. When you go from country to country quite often and move states and countries all the time, you lose a bit of your track. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
should be all good.
So obviously you're not born in Australia. You're from the UK.
Yeah.
Leicester.
Yep, in Leicester.
Leicester,
right in the East Midlands.
Give us a little insight in your childhood. You got 2 sisters.
Yep, Molly and Kate.
And Tony and Debbers.
Yeah.
Who we've met over in Melbourne. Talk about Melbourne in a sec. But yeah, was it always football, or you're into horse riding and dancing?
Yeah. Well done. Well found out.
Thank you.
I started as a little dancer. So my mum was a professional dancer. And so then me and my sisters obviously did dancing, and did that for literally till I was 18, like until I went to university. So even alongside football. So pretty much everything, like ballet, tap, modern, jazz, stage, acro. Although I wasn't great at acro, I was kind of just more either thrown up in the air because I was so small, and then when I got older I was like the lifter because I just can't bend. Like,
you're strong now, you're going to lift.
Pretty much.
I want to be thrown in the air.
And then I did horse riding, just because I got into that because someone had a Shetland pony, and like I said, I was really small and then I had this fairly good growth route. But when I was small, I was the only person this lady knew that could ride her Shetland that was small enough. So I got into that. So that was just sort of, and then I took proper lessons, and then like Tony took me, and it became a thing. But I was already involved around football because Dad runs like a local men's club. And so I was always around it, and started, I guess, at school, maybe year 5, like just joining in with the boys. And then sort of as I fell out of love with horse riding, that's when my like love or more serious interest in football came. So I wasn't really allowed to probably do football on top of horse riding. So when that shift happened, it was there was opportunities to train, and then I was just kicking a ball along on a wall at my dad's football club, and there was at the time a girls and women's team based at the same ground. And this coach just kind of came up to me like, "Oh, do you play?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Well, do you want to come train with us? We'd love to have you. Like, you obviously look like you can sort of play."
Who is this man?
I was like, his name is Mike.
We need to thank Mike.
Yeah.
On your Mikey.
Yeah, Mike. So Mike Palmer, actually. So good old
It's
Mike.
Cole's dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly not. Yeah, so that's how I went, and then just went to my first training session. I don't know how old I was, like 12, 13, 12 probably.
Under 13s, 9-a-side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like we were playing 9-a-side but offside my first year.
Right.
And then the following year I think we could have been 9 again, but we went to 11 because we were like the team locally was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then, moving along, 4 years at Obi and Wigston.
Yeah, Obi and Wigston.
That's what? Uni? No.
No, that's like grassroots club, yeah.
Oh.
So that's where like that was the team
All
based
these
out
names
of
I might have got no idea.
Yeah, it's
if
so
that's
complicated.
Like, is that at a like college system? Is that local?
That was a local.
Is that semi-pro?
team.
Yep. So, all in boys team, or was that women's?
That was women's, yeah.
Nice.
So I did the boys at school, and then I would go on these summer camps, and I'd be the only girl with the boys.
Yeah.
But then that was like I said, Obi and Wigston was like not as big now, and there's been a lot of changes. But at the time, it was like in Leicestershire, like one of the biggest like grassroots clubs.
Yeah.
That and another team.
Mm-hmm.
Recruited like lots of girls kind of started there, and even ones that have like gone on to do things.
And we're always a centre back?
Yep. Well, when I went to that first training session, the coach was like, "Oh, where do you play?" And I was like, "Right back." And he was like, "Oh, I've never had like a young girl know straight away." Like at the time, obviously not as many people playing. And I just don't know why I said that. Like I actually wasn't
said up front, mate.
Yeah, like I've never played. Like at that point when I went to that first training session, I'd played a bit at school, but I wasn't really playing. And I think I just wanted to tackle everyone and just loved like
just getting
stuck in.
Yeah.
And then then I kind of transitioned as a centre back as like I got a bit taller, and
he was probably buzzing because all the girls always want to play. Put me up front. Put me in the midfield.
I really wish I was a forward.
Yeah, even at like school soccer, girls, no one wants to defend.
Yeah,
like you have to pretty much force them. Like, well, you're not quick, so you're not going on the wing. Too bad. You would have been a little speedy girl though. Then it got a bit more serious. Trials at Leicester City. Did not get in.
No.
Tell us about that. How long were you training with them? How did you get into that?
Yeah, so every year, like the academy, it's called Centre of Excellence or RTC now, they run trials, and so everyone goes, and it's like the first chop, like, all right, you can kind of play, like you can come back for another trial.
Yeah.
And then it gets chopped again for the weekend, so you do two trial days, and then the weekend is like a game where some of the academy girls are mixed in and stuff, and you kind of play. And so I went 2 years in a row and always got to that stage, and then I got the like never asked and you like competing for 1 or 2 spots, so like fine, but obviously a bit disappointed. But I bounced back, and I just like loved Obi Wigston. Like I played with my friends, like been there a few years, like just loved it. And then I was just playing on a Sunday, and like a scout just came from the academy. Like I said, we were quite a big club, so like that's why they would come and watch a bit. And then at the end of the game, my manager called me over, and he was like talking to this guy, Nigel, and he said he was interested in like their centre back, which was me, and if I'd be interested in coming for a trial. So I was offered a 4-week trial, I think, but I think after 3 weeks or 2 weeks I got brought in, and they were like, yeah, we'd like to offer you a contract. So that's where like you get your kit straight away, and like I went home, I was like, oh my god, guys, I'm playing for Leicester.
That's awesome.
I remember being like super happy. And then like stayed at Leicester that was like halfway through a season, so I had half a year there, and then had another year until it goes up to under 17s, and then you're obviously too old to play.
Mm-hmm.
You go to women's football.
Yeah, nice. Relegated after the first year, but then got promoted after 2. So you were there for a few years?
That was at Loughborough.
Oh.
Yeah, so after leaving the academy...
Oh, Loughborough Foxes.
Yeah, Loughborough Foxes. So Leicester Women, obviously like now who WSL Leicester Women, we had the women's team. Yeah. But at the time, they just got relegated from Tier 3, so the National League, into Tier 4. So when you know, we're leaving the academy, we were sort of encouraged to look at some higher level clubs. And then one of the younger managers, Jenny Sugarman, I actually saw her at the Obi and Wixon ground because I was still involved a bit and like hanging around with my dad at the club. And she saw me and she was like, oh, what are you doing like now you've left the academy? And I was like, oh, she was like, why don't you come to Loughborough? And they just got promoted to tier 3. So I was like, yeah, amazing. So yeah, I did that for a year, but then we went back down and we actually swapped places with Leicester Women that year. And then, yeah, had a couple of years trying to come back up. And then we got promoted. So back in the National League, which was, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Then COVID came along.
Yep.
Paused the league and then cancelled the league. So then you thought, you know what, I'm going to move to Adelaide.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I always wanted to move back. So during my third year at university, I did a placement year and worked in Melbourne. So my placement was at Western Bulldogs in the AFLW.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I was also a research assistant at Vic Uni. And I just had the best time, like loved it. And then like Shiv, my partner, she's a dual citizen. So we always had the vision of like sort of me as coming back here, and her family was living here in Adelaide. So yeah, sort of COVID happened, great timing. I'd graduated, you know, like Shiv with a job, just coming to a point where I was ready to move on. And yeah, like COVID was really a great push for us as well, just because, you know, let's get out quick. That sounds terrible.
Did you have to get like an exemption, or how was that? Because no one was it that stage where it was like, nah, you can't travel unless like different circumstances.
Yeah, so obviously Shiv could because she had the passport. So as a citizen, she was allowed to return to her country.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas I had to get like a de facto exemption. So we had to apply, to get me exempt, like put a document together of like proving our relationship, all of this, like.
Yeah.
So funny, like just screenshotting messages, like group chats, like
invasive government. Come on,
they would know so much about it. It's like
someone
so
just
cringe.
reading it all, like, oh, well,
like, oh, I missed you. Like you had to prove like you talked when like we lived apart, and oh gosh,
oh my gosh.
I
guess there'd be a lot of people trying to do the dodge, so
it was
a good thing. But you were legit.
It was just after like wave 1, so like where everyone thought COVID was sort of disappearing and it was done with. Because we were reading like forums online where like married couples and like just even like Aussies like struggling to get back, and we were like, oh god, this isn't gonna happen.
Yeah. And
then it literally happened all within like my visa, and then my exemption came in through within like 4 days.
Oh,
and I'm like walking down the street and I'm like, oh my gosh,
I'm going to Adelaide.
So really grateful for that, and I know it was such a difficult time. So like, yeah, super happy we managed to come.
Yeah. So then you obviously thought, we both play football. Where should we go? Fulham. How did this come about? Was it like, we'll have a look at the league? Like, or did Shiv have any connections or?
No, so obviously coming to a new country, you don't really know anything about like football.
Yeah.
Whereas, because I'd been in Melbourne, I sort of knew what NPL was. So straight away I was like, okay, like let's look at the NPL teams. And I like wrote in my diary that the ladder, like tried to work out distances, because at the time getting here we didn't really have a car either.
Yeah.
So trying to look at like locality. And I was pretty keen to like hit up a few teams, but then Susan Bassett, who played at Fulham, she knew Shiv from Macclesfield Town in England.
Yeah.
So they played together, like when Siobhan was obviously in her youth years. So yeah, Susan Bassett was like, why don't you come to Fulham? And we were like, yeah, like, okay, sure. And then we knew Fiona had played there. Yeah. So we were like, oh, cool. And then just went to a session. Really great group of girls. Like, it was only just before Christmas, so it was quite casual, like just, you know, a Christmas kind of training session.
Yeah.
And yeah, they obviously were dead excited and offered us, you know, to a contract pretty much straight out. And like getting paid. And in England at that time, like the league we were in wasn't paying, and like we weren't getting paid. So we were like, oh wow, this is great. Like a bit of money. So that's kind of how that came about, really.
Yeah. Sweet. And then you were there for
just
one
the year.
Yeah. 1 year.
Yeah.
And then you met me.
I did. In a meeting room at Rachel Laurie's office.
Yes, we were in North Adelaide, Rachel's office, meeting. And we're like, oh, I got like Liv and Shiv, they're at Fulham. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. And I was like captain. I sat in a few of them. And like as soon as you sat down, I was like, I love this girl. You're like, yeah, I want to do this, like I'm really to build this. And like you two were like the sweetest. And I was like, I love these people. And I was just like, yeah, they can come in the club, open the door, come in, sign them now.
Funny.
And obviously you've come out to like Kilburn training, met all the girls. How's that been? Because you're still in this environment, not playing this year, but you've been there since. How's Westies?
Yeah, I feel like Westies is like my home here now. I think it's such a brilliant club, and like I remember playing in our first year, like when we'd play against Westies at Fulham, like it was just like I want to play for West Adelaide. Like I love the way West Adelaide plays. Like, there was just something about it, and then obviously I did, and like once you're kind of playing for West Adelaide, you realise why. And I think even through, a couple of different coaches, like especially like Costa coming in this year and just like a few different players, like it has evolved since obviously I arrived here. Like there is an identity. Like I think the way West Adelaide plays is not really changed heaps, and genuinely is like the best footballing team probably in the league, and just love that style and passing the ball and like I guess that prettier football. Like I really like that and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, and obviously like you're leading the way.
Good
so
vibes.
Good vibes.
I'll look after you. It's okay. You had already moved to Melbourne prior to meeting with us, right? Or
no,
I can't remember what happened.
Yeah, so I was when I had the
South.
meeting. Yeah, I was in the mix of applying for a PhD, so I didn't really know what was going to happen with that.
Yeah,
and so in the meeting, I was like, I want to play for Adelaide, and then this PhD came up because originally I was signed up to do a PhD in Perth at ECU, Edith Cohen, yeah.
Oh.
And like 2 weeks before I was meant to start, I pulled out.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were a bit funny about like me not being in Perth, even though in like hindsight I could have probably gone for a month and then come back. The supervisors I was going to have were fine with that, but it just felt like I didn't know where to live. I was just like, now I just rock up somewhere and just do it anyway. But like, at that time, it was the first like experience of that. So yeah, I was doing that, and then I didn't because I wanted to stay, but then I got this other PhD in an area like in sustainability that I wanted to do. Yeah, so it was all up in the air, and I think then I had obviously a chat with like Trace at the time and Rach, and just saying, look, like I'm doing a PhD. I think I need to go and set up over there first and give it a go.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously like I'd been to South previously. I had a bit of a connection there. So like went to South, for a little bit.
Yep. Then 2022 came back to play for West.
Yeah.
And your debut game against Facala got on the score sheet.
Yeah.
I remember I was injured and I was sat with the coaches, and it was 0 half time.
Yeah.
Was it like 60 something minutes, 70th? Was it? It was getting on.
Yeah. We were struggling in that game.
Oh my gosh, something about that ground, man.
Yeah.
Something about Jack
I think
Smith Park.
but a few people were like ill because like Tracy had COVID because I remember she wasn't there.
Yeah, Anna didn't play.
And then
she was throwing up.
There was someone that had a chest infection that was like really cooked and just like, and we were like bare bones. Like you said, you were injured, and then like I remember Nick taking it. Was like, girls, like we just got to do what we can.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, this like I've like got to step up. Like,
yeah.
I'm new in. Like I feel fresh. I'm ready to go. Never been so nervous for a game. Oh. Like even cup finals, big. I've never. Like even I was living with Tasha Vella at the time, and she was like, Liv, I've never seen you like this. Like, I was like,
oh my god,
like, stressed, and then had
I guess that's kind of understandable, and not even trying to be funny here, but when you played at Fulham, like if you came up against West Adelaide, I can remember some 8-0s, 5-0s, like some smashing.
Yeah, 5 when I was at 5.
8-0 at West Beach. I don't think you were there. It was a few years before. But you would have a different mentality, I guess. Like if you're a centre back for a team that's struggling, you'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna do what I can and get like.
I could have the
kind
game
of buzzed about it, but if you're on the other team, it's like there's an expectation. Like they've brought me in,
you
I
can't
have to perform.
Yeah, and the tone like coming into West LA straight away was that. Like I remember, like on my first session, it like it was like welcome, come in, but it was like a steely welcome, and like, like I was, getting not not shout, but like, you know, it wasn't like it was you're here to do this and like you need to do your job. You need to learn quick sort of thing. It was like you said at Fulham, could probably have the game of my life, and we'd still concede quite a few. So it was a very different kind of experience. And I don't know, I think having come back from Melbourne that time, like I'd only played 2 rounds in Melbourne and decided to leave. Because I just wasn't happy with like what I was experiencing at the club at that time. So I think coming back, I just really wanted it to work here, because you just don't want that disappointment either. But what a game. But
corner came in, bit of a scuffle in the box, and Bramman sent it home and sent it with the celebration. Everyone's celebration. That's all right. We didn't care. We were like, thank God someone scored. This is one of those games like even last night we played against Flinders the first half. I reckon we would have had 20 plus shots. And it's like, when is one going to go in? Because when one does, I think it was only 1-0 that game.
2.
But
two,
was it 2?
Yeah, 2.
When the floodgates open, they really open, which I've found at West, which is always good fun, but patience is needed sometimes. But yes, that year went on to be the best year of my life. And a lot of girls in that team won everything.
Yep.
So how was that to sort of come in and achieve that, which is a club we've been up there, but we've always been a finals club, but we've, I played 3 grand finals. Took 4 to finally get one. Same with cup finals. I hadn't really won anything. How was...
Yeah, I was talking to Rachel quickly about this, literally at the footy the other night, and we were saying like, that is probably the best year of our life. Like the football, and even though it's good and bad in ways, because even though we were both saying like we were having stuff in our own personal life that like might affect you, or that it's tough, or your experience and just generally in life, but it literally didn't matter because of how good football was. And like how as a group we were so like united and one, and like going to training was like pure joy. And just like you really wanted to be there as long as possible. Obviously in the games, like there was some easier games, but we were still having some tough fixtures, but like everyone was doing their job, everyone was learning, like everyone had their backs, like each other's backs, and it was just incredible. It was such a good year. And the celebrations were even better, obviously.
So fun. I just think it's once in a lifetime kind of stuff. Like the girls, with Anna and Maddie in the midfield, and the defence. Like Annie played a worldie that year.
Even like the girls that like filled our bench, like most, like all of them could have literally been starting 11 players in the WNPL. And so whatever we had, like injuries or rotations or like the subs coming on to finish a game, like it was just up there. Like everyone was just like so elite.
And everyone's attitude was just
such a bite. Everyone bought into everything, and like I said, I think when we talk about culture in football, like we genuinely had like the perfect culture that year. Like a perfect balance of like professionalism, being focused, buying into it. Like I said, like working hard for each other, but then also like experiencing joy and really enjoying the process and the learning. And
I think we like training would finish, and then everyone's like, want to go get cha time? Want to sushi? Want to get ice cream? Like, do we have to leave?
Just
like we
so
go
much
home
love.
to our house and our other life. Almost felt like an other life. Like oh, so much fun.
Absolute like withdrawals. Like after.
Such a special team, such a special year. Melbourne. So
oh my goodness.
So it was actually funny because you and I, like, we've always got along, but we weren't like super, super close.
No.
And then it turns out we're living together in Melbourne. I don't know how I even heard you were thinking about going back to Melbourne. And then I was already pretty much signed with a team over there. And then you've just popped up as well. And we're like, you want to live together? Yeah, all right, let's do it. So ended up roomies. Some bloody good times.
Really good times, yeah.
Like, tell the key story.
There's multiple. I feel like your friends when I drop my keys down the lift.
Yes.
Okay, so week 2 of being there. We have Susan Mick around for dinner. Week
Wasn't
one.
your mum and dad were still there?
Yeah, so maybe week one. Like, you've just moved.
Yeah.
You literally just moved in.
I moved January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have Susan Mick over for dinner with the parents as well. Susan's like, oh, imagine if you drop your keys down that gap in the lift. And I was like, oh, no, wouldn't do that. Me swinging it around my hand. 2 seconds later, bye keys.
And it was like hanging on the side. And then Liv's like dropped to her knees to try and reached out and it's just gone chung, straight down.
Gosh.
I was like, you're actually kidding me.
Car keys on there, apartment keys, not even my car.
And then Liv's on the phone, excuse me, can we get down the lift? Yeah, every 6 months there's a checkup that they do. We can get them then, or you can pay, what was it?
It's like over $1,000.
That was one of the things. And then Marketplace, Debbie on Marketplace was relentless.
Girls, I found your TV. What, from 1990?
Our TV was the oldest thing in that apartment, but kind of was attached.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's pretty cool. It was hours. Like, everything in there was like hours.
Yes.
Like, we worked hard to get
yes.
that.
I got in there because, like you mentioned, you'd already gone over. You're like, yeah, I've found a few things for the apartment. I was like, cool, get in there. There's like 3 couches. There's one out on the balcony and then like 2 in there and like not in the greatest condition. I was like, what have you brought in?
Most of it was free though.
It was free.
That brown table.
You were grinding.
That was huge.
That
big
table.
I was like, yeah, we can just put it in the corner. Takes up half the room.
The wooden one.
Oh, so stupid.
I can't deal with it. It's making me cough. Oh, man.
Oh.
So, yep, I'm like, we're getting rid of that. I put it on. Do we get money for that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So that was the fun thing. Get stuff for free. Sell it for more.
We had such a business. Well.
And then Brammers brings in this round table.
Oh, yeah.
That was, let's just say, required some TLC. Off to Bunnings with her dad. Get some sanding.
Get the spatula.
Yeah, it was scraping it. And then, oh, God. And then it was like all water damage underneath. So it was all lumpy.
It looked great. Though, in the end.
The finishing product was
the vinyl
great.
helped. Yeah.
The vinyl from Kmart. And then the coffee table matched.
I was so attached to that.
Oh.
I didn't want to let the table
and them chairs.
Go. Yeah.
I drove like 40 minutes to go pick up these chairs.
Such a bargain. Paid in petrol.
$30 though for them 4 nice chairs. They were good. I'm happy with that. I sold them for way more too.
Yeah.
Probably came home richer.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
No. The fridge was pretty good as well.
Oh, the fridge.
In the what was I driving? A Mazda.
A Mazda 3. So Brammers thinks it was a good idea to take her dad. No, we had hired the van with the washing machine.
Oh gosh, which then was broken. No wonder that thing broke. We
hired a van and didn't tie down the washing machine, and then Brammers has slammed on the brakes, and it's literally, I don't know how one of us didn't get decapitated, in all honesty, because that thing came flying and the van, it was,
we broke. Well, are we allowed to say?
Yeah, I don't
might
know.
have broke the van a little bit. Covered our mistakes.
The console part.
Okay.
So then we didn't have the van, but we wanted a fridge. So I have spent ages trying to find a fridge with no scratches. Only for Tony and Olivia to shove it in the back of the Mazda 3 and scratch it on the little things that the
boot clips into.
And brings it back and wheels it in all scratched. I was like, wow, thanks guys.
It's just sticking out.
I would have
That is so illegal.
It is. We should insert a photo.
Yeah, I do have that photo actually.
If you were my delivery people, I would have sacked you real quick because that was...
Well, I don't know how else we were going to get the fridge home from...
No, I think we need to get the van back. About that, this apartment we're staying in, I felt like a bit of a rock star on that rooftop pool.
I was thinking about this again the other day because I saw the logo of the estate agent when I was in Melbourne for the Arsenal game. And I was like, like, how?
Yeah.
Like, it was so cheap for what, for what it was. We had 2 bathrooms.
Yep.
Yeah, small meterage, but perfect for what we needed.
Perfect.
Easily
Balcony.
maintainable, balcony.
Do the washing.
Hot tub. Pool.
And
gym.
it was funny because on the ad, it had nothing. It had just the apartment. I don't even think in the description it said like, no, there was no photo. So I'm talking this rooftop pool. You've probably seen it on our Instagram because we were smashing that in the summer, smashing it. It's like a massive pool, jacuzzi, hot tub that we basically lived in before training. We're like, we don't want to go. I don't want to get out. And then a gym as well, like full access to that, and really close to the train station. Yeah, that rent's gone up heaps. I saw like the ad. I was like, it's gone up. Like they tried like upping it by like $80. I was like, could have done at least that. So anyway, we settled in quite nicely. The football side. I want to talk about you being international and how that can sort of affect contracts and the adversities that come with that. And overall, what do you think of like the Victorian system set up and like differences to SA?
Yeah, deep breath. No, yeah, as an international, obviously in NPL, there's only 2 international spots per team. So you're obviously competing quite highly. But for me, like at NPL level, like that's like, you know, still got like, you know, relatively comfortable. So not too much of an issue from my point of view, based on my experience as well. But then obviously sometimes, again, if you just don't fit the mould of a team or a coach, or you don't come in, you know, like you don't have time to have like an off week or an off game. Like I try to be encouraged to be supported more because you move, like same with similar to interstate, like you move your whole life. Like you don't know about transport systems, you don't have a car, like you're struggling to find an apartment, like you come in with no money pretty much. So all of that, like, yeah, you do need support from the club, but then there's an expectation that you're getting all the support, so you need to be a high performer. But I was actually talking to Fee about this a little bit based on her experiences moving into state recently, and being an international, that like I don't think anyone really appreciates what it's like until you experience it, of like even just like, you know, I've lived in loads of different places, but like my family or my partner was in SA, or like these support networks you've built up that allow you to perform and just like relax you. Like even if you have, you know, you walk into a great team, like if I'd gone to Melbourne and walked into a great team and been fine, like you're still in this like state of like high tension or a bit not anxiety, but yeah, you're a bit stressed all the time. It's just not your comfort zone. So yeah, that on trying to then perform, like I think, you know, I look back now and again talk to Fee, we're talking about other players we know as well, like, and where injuries come up and maybe illnesses and or just like a bit of burnout, and like all these factors like play into that. And I think that was pretty tough in Melbourne, and obviously around while I got my impact injury, like pretty much played like 42 minutes and sort of got clattered in a game, and that just like really set me back, like to try and come back and then perform at a level, and then again like mentally, like I feel very different player now to then, but like mentally, like that was so tough for me, and just like trying to seek other people's external validation all the time, but then not really having a safe space outside of football because everything's so new and so I think that mix of things like makes it really tough. And one of my friends is actually doing a PhD on like migrant women's soccer experiences in Victoria, and yeah, she's finding some really interesting things, and I definitely don't think the structures and the processes and the governance in NPL level, and probably even to some extent A-League level, is like set up to support probably internationals as much and interstaters, and just allow people to like thrive whilst playing football. Very performance driven, which you know,
it's interesting. I guess a lot of it comes down to your environment and, you know, people around you, attitudes of players, that sort of thing. And I think coming off the back of that season at West, it was a little bit of a shock, I guess you could say. It was very dog eat dog. And I think being in Melbourne, it's more competitive. It's more people that live there. So I think they're just used to that. But yeah, to come into that environment, having already experienced what is the ideal, stress of being away, and then on top of environments that, you know, aren't healthy.
Yeah.
And the results were there, results aren't there, and then everyone gets our A-League players back, and then next minute it's like, what's happening?
Yeah, it's just crazy. And I think it's really like, for me, like you said, it was a shock. Like we often spoke about like, oh my God, like it's very different to last year. And I think we quickly recognised that what we had at West Adelaide 2022 was special. And even, you know, the following year at West Adelaide, when I did come back, like different, but there's still like strong foundations there. And I think for me, like I'm big on environment. Like I know I'm
like support network, coaches. But again, you're in your hometown. So it's that added
impressionable person. It's like those around me really do fill up my cup. And like, I get a lot of energy from that. So I don't know if like by chance or on purpose, I've always like sought out environments that I know are going to help me thrive. So like even in England, like Loughborough, the year we got relegated and we're losing, like it's still one of the best football years I've had because of the people I was with and the culture we had. Like again, like Loughborough, we had really strong bonds and lots of social support and just, the culture was really positive. And then like going to university football at Nottingham-Trent, I was playing alongside Loughborough. My first year wasn't like that. And we were winning, but I still didn't enjoy it because we didn't have that bond. And then by the time my final year at university, like me and Stegs we're playing together and the club had just grown. And again, we had such like, you just see how like the culture and team dynamics can make a difference to your results. And you create your own look that way. So I think for me, it wasn't even just from West Adelaide. I'd seen it in other contexts as well where I was like, oh no, like that is normal. You can have winning, you can have seriousness, you can have professionalism, but you can experience joy. And it is very hard. And again, since it's like even recent experiences, like I've seen how different cultures, like every team is so different, every club is so different. But yeah, I definitely think, it was very interesting. And like you said, a very dog-eat-dog nature in Melbourne rather than kind of wanting to be better by building other people up. It's like, I don't know, yeah.
And it's interesting because there's a lot of new signings in this team. So it's kind of just like picking a lot, putting them into the mix, see how it goes. Training sessions were quite intense and like well structured, I thought. And I think because I was coming in as being a captain previously to pretty much the new girl, no, not leadership in any way, shape or form. So just seeing like little behaviours and stuff that I like wouldn't take for a second at Westies. To kind of just go under the radar and then it gets spreads and starts spreading and then next minute it's and by this point you're gone as well. So like you had been let go and you were back to Adelaide and I'm by myself in this apartment. I'm like, what is this? Like I've moved my whole life.
So bad.
Like George is back at home. Where are my cats?
I was going to say where could all
that's the main compromise.
Yeah.
But on the hindsight and on the upside of that, I met some great people like Riona. Really, really miss Riona.
Pancakes.
I don't talk to her much anymore. Shout out to Pancakes if you're watching. Amir, obviously, and I still Jackie Dilks in town.
Yeah.
So he's been hanging out with us a little bit. But met some good people, but it's definitely one of those years just wasn't what you were expecting.
No, and I think we had high expectations. I think because we were going together as well.
Yeah.
We were like, yes, this is going to be our year. And I think I look back now and like, probably wasn't playing my best, but I don't think I probably gave myself enough credit at the time. Like,
no,
I think I should have backed myself and spoke up for myself a little bit more at the time. But then, outside of the football, like we were having the best time though. And I think that's what was the most disappointing thing was like, we'd both moved, like we're sacrificing a lot, but like we were making the most of it. We were like thriving, like making chippies in the air fryer, in the hot tub, smashing OC, walks, like obviously B1, B2 account was getting going and then it all just came crashing down after one conversation during training. And like you said, like I, had a little look at VPL, but that wasn't where I was gonna,
No.
you know, get any better or
No.
develop and then I looked at footy and just wasn't ready to let go of soccer. So that was, it was back to Adelaide and had to obviously leave you behind, sadly.
I think it was obviously super hard for you. For me as well, I could see like the player that you could be. And I knew for a fact, like SA is not a crappy league. And I think a lot of people in Melbourne think, oh, you won the treble in SA, like, oh, good on you sort of thing. Comparing the two, it's not a whole heap of differences. Like some of the goals you see here in SA, like the goals of the week,
insane,
like just bangers after bangers.
I think it's a different style of football. Like I think Melbourne has a much more direct, physical, like let's go down the corridor, let's go as quick as a striker and we're going to like brute force through. And like I said, everyone's like generally quicker. Whereas here in SA, it's like, let's get the ball, let's play, what pattern play can we do? But even like Comets going over in pre-season, they played like South Melbourne. And, you know, again, different players, because I think there's a higher pool of like A-League players that come back into the Victorian NPL. Yeah. But like at that time, like they've been very competitive.
Still the local players. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it depends. I think there's probably more depth in Melbourne, like we said, bigger pool of talent perhaps. And here, like, you know, you've got your top teams and perhaps other teams, which is a bit more of a difference and not as many leagues below. Like we only have State League 1, they've got VPL, State League this. And so, yeah, it all plays into that. But yeah, really interesting experience. And yeah, like you said, coming in and knowing like the players, like even for yourself, like, you know, your captain quality is like how much of a leader you are and like how good you are on the ball and how many goals you can score, and just not really being able to have that like influence at first. And, you know, you were at that wedding, but like in pre-season camp, like I really opened myself up. Like we shared like a lot of really like personal, intimate things, and I was like really trying to buy in. Like you come with like your best attitude, and yeah, like you're trying to bring what you've learned, like what we had at West, like trying to like, you know, just drop little things in, like try and create this positive culture. But like, yeah, as a new player, you don't really get respect unless, you know, you're performing straight away on the pitch, which is kind of like a bit backwards, you know?
Yeah. I think as well, it can be difficult for clubs and teams and coaching staff to deliver something that they've maybe spoken about that they would, or a certain standard when the club itself doesn't have its back. So I think in our experience, women's definitely after the men's. So like, you know, your classic stuff that shouldn't be happening in 2023, 2024, you know, waiting till 8 o'clock to get on the main pitch because the men's want to warm down in the middle of the pitch and are in no hurry to get off, sort of thing.
And the amount of times I've heard, I think on a couple of occasions where when a club's, you know, broadly struggling, it's, I wouldn't think 2 seconds to can the women. Like, you know, when you have cultures like that from top down, like you said, it's very difficult to deliver what you want, and perhaps under pressure. Like again, you know, a coach or manager is not paying you. So when you're being paid by a club, again, the pressures that you might not see. And yeah, and it's all, you know, coaches are human. They're dealing with their own like careers, pressures. They're, obviously might doubt themselves and having to battle against, like you said, clubs or, you know, committees and board members and things. And that, that's always tough. And I think it's easy to forget that. But yeah, at the same time, like I think everyone involved needs to have a holistic view. And, you know, it takes one person to try and change that slowly. You just got to be bold enough to kind of go against the grain, I guess. Yeah, definitely.
Well said.
Yeah.
Moving on. You've since then a bit of a FU to everyone that thought you weren't good enough. But you signed for Durham and you're playing the Women's Championship in England.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So happy for you. Very proud. So you signed for West if you were going to be here, but you had the trials. So pre-season here, and then went over about a month, was it?
I went over in December just for Christmas anyway, because me and Shiv had a wedding to go to.
That's right.
And then had a different trial at London City.
Yeah.
which was actually only done for a couple of days because like I kind of went when testing. It was just before Christmas. Like they were going for a really rough period as well, so it was a bit of a strange experience. But then Durham came up, and that was in the January, like first week of Jan, straight off New Year.
What was that like when you put that pen to paper, or you knew? Did you think you were going to get signed? You knew you had a good chance.
I don't know. Yeah, I think, and having gone to London City, it was quite good that I went to that because I kind of opened my eyes up to like the level and knowing that, all right, like what I've got to do to like show that I'm good enough at this level, and probably knowing that I had a way to go as well, like but also being like, actually, I'm not far off this. Like I deserve this sort of thing. And then also just sort of experiencing that and being like, I've got nothing to lose. Like just going in and being like, you know what, like I've been here a month at like Christmas, like I actually was missing Adelaide at this point, like Shiv's gone back to Adelaide and I'm like, I've gone to a tier 3 team, so I went to like rugby for a bit, like great club, great group of girls, but again still felt like a big fish in a smaller pond sort of thing, like just not quite the challenge I was after, even though there's so much talent there. I just wanted to be challenged more, so I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to stay here for tier 3, so really Durham's like, I'm either signing here or I'm going back. And I'd sort of accepted that I was okay with coming back to Adelaide. Like, love West, like, you were coming back as well, like, Costa's coming in, like, loads of exciting things, PhD, all of that. So, yeah, at Durham, I just sort of went with, like, I've got nothing to lose. Like, I'm here, I'm training with the Championship club. Like, even if it's a week of training, like, awesome. Like, I know where I'm at, like, great front foot to be on to go into, like, West season. And yeah, so I did a week, and then we had a trial game an internal game, which happened to be my trial game on the Saturday, and trained as like pretty much a defender, like although there wasn't much full-sided, so but I was typically, you know, dropping back and covering the goal and things like that. And then they're like, oh, we're going to play you in the 6 today. Is that all right? I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like I am not a midfielder in my head. And I just thought, well, you know what? I've just got to give it my best shot. Like, get the ball, play it simple, like, do what I know I can.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think I've ever played so well in my life. Like, and which is so strange to be in a trial. And, like, yes, I was nervous, but I genuinely, in a good way, not in a fearful way. Just, like
content.
I said, got nothing to lose. Going to really enjoy this game, see what I can, like, surprise myself. And I 100% did. Like, I'm dropping the shoulder, I'm turning and receiving back foot, like, dropping it off, playing through balls, like, honestly.
On fire.
Yeah, so after that game, I was like,
who is she?
Well, I actually played pretty well. And then they said, oh, yeah, we'd like you to come back because we want to, like, see you more in the midfield more. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Thinking, God, are these people okay?
You right? Yeah, me?
Me. So did. And then that weekend they were playing Man City in the FA Cup. And obviously I knew I wasn't going to be like have any paperwork, and I was like, oh, I do want to stay to watch, but also I've been living in Australia for a couple of years, like kind of want a weekend with family, like if I'm coming back to Adelaide, need to see fam before I go, but also if they're going to sign me, this will be like the weekend before I need to be around. So I sort of said to Lee, like, hey, like it's a week and a half now, it's something like the Tuesday or Wednesday, I've like had a couple more training sessions, said like just what you're thinking, like no stress, no pressure, but just want to know because I'm thinking like this is what I'd like to do the weekend. And he said, oh, like come in tomorrow, and that was the day off. So I was like, oh gosh, like getting brought into the office, like, and yeah, Lee just sort of said like we'd like to offer you something, and I'll draw up like a formal contract obviously, and we can go through the details, but yeah, we just would like, so yeah, you can go home for the weekend, get more of your stuff. And I was already in the player house, like they provide accommodation and stuff, so I'd already stayed in the player house for my trial because it was spare room. So then I just basically brought more stuff and didn't really ever leave. So yeah, like amazing. And then sort of was like, wow, great, cool. And then just carried on training. But I'd already been there 2 weeks, well, a week and a half by the time I sort of got offered. So yeah, coming back training the next week, it just felt like normal. Like I'd already kind of settled in. Yeah. 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 So what a turnaround.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
What a turnaround. Yeah, hats off to you because you're so gracious, and there's things that if they were to happen to other players, and I think it actually did happen, they would just crack it and all sorts of things, but you were always just so hurting, but
Yeah.
you could never see, and your attitude was
Yeah.
always
I
top
think-
tier. I think that's
Yeah.
credit to you.
Last year, like, I definitely went for a point of not playing. Like, I think you came home from training once and I was, like, wrapped in my blanket with a cup of tea, like, bawling my eyes out still. Like, actually a week of just being, like, a shell of a human
Yeah.
and thinking, oh, my gosh, this is what football does to you. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
this is, like, I don't want this for myself.
Yeah.
And even coming back to Adelaide, like, I remember I was visiting Shiv, trained at West Adelaide on the Monday. Still hadn't, like, officially, like, left Melbourne at this point. And like Trace was like, oh, like, can you play on Friday? And I was like, huh? You want me to play this Friday? It's Monday. I've got to go back to Melbourne and come back. Like, but then I was just like, I don't know, like there's something she looked to me the way and I was like, okay, like I will. And even that game, like, it was great because it was against Adelaide City. So like first game back, like big game,
Yeah.
like really important. Like West hadn't had the results at this time they really
Mm.
needed or should have been getting. And we got the win. But even at that point, I was like, my heart is not in this right now. Like, I don't feel happy on the football pitch. But I just like, yeah, very grateful for West Adelaide and the people around me at that time to like pull me out of that.
Yeah.
And then the World Cup came
Yeah.
and then like the Lionesses were here and the Matildas are like, you know, the Matilda effect's happening. And I was like, wow, I love football. Like, you just
Yeah.
can't, like, it's something you just
Yeah.
can't let go of.
Roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think I remember you saying one of those nights, you're just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to play. And I was just like, Olivia, who are you? Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up to yourself.
Yeah.
This don't mean shit, girl.
So it
You
went
are
the other way
going to do
after.
better things.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a professional footballer now. Like, yeah. And yeah, I was so like
In the gym.
driven. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
smashing it.
Riding your bike everywhere.
Oh, God. that
God.
bike. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Susan Mick, for letting me borrow the bike. Yeah. And just, yeah. Like I said, but again, because I'd been at that like really low point with football, again, like going into Durham, being like, if I don't get in, like worse has happened.
Yeah.
Like,
I've
there's
already,
other
I can
opportunities.
take it.
Yeah. Like, hit me. Come on. Come at me.
Do you want to fight?
Yeah. I'm ready.
Do you know who I am?
And yeah, like again, having that shock of being like, you know what, football isn't pretty. Like, it is personal, but it's not personal. It's not, and you can't let it affect you. Like,
Take
yes, it
over.
means more, but
Yeah.
you are such more of a bigger person than just being a footballer. But at the same time, like, yeah, I just absolutely obviously froth football. So football is life. Yeah, big up Durham.
Have you eaten chocolate? Have you started eating chocolate again?
Yeah.
Because you went how long?
Oh yeah.
One-
Well, actually, I broke it on the 1st of December for my advent calendar.
Oh,
I couldn't like not. Have
Liv
an advent
went
calendar.
11 months without chocolate. And while I was living with her in Melbourne, and can I tell you, was it annoying? Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, oh, it's got chocolate in it. Sorry. Just eat a block of chocolate and watch the OC with me, because we both had our lives right now.
Literally, both a bit depressed, so we need chocolate biscuits.
Nah, I'll have, what was your...
Oh God, we had that Neapolitan. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Politan.
yeah.
Neapolitan's the French War.
The ice cream.
Yeah, and you'd have
Oh,
the chocolate
yum.
bit, and then I'd have the strawberry bit, and then we'd both have a bit of vanilla. I'd put like millions of thousands on mine, and then you'd like have a little chocolate ripple biscuit, Arnott's, crumble dip in it. Sweet treats. You treat yourself, girl.
And the air fryer chips.
Oh,
That's all we
yes.
needed. And the coleslaw dressing. You love your coleslaw dressing.
Yeah, that was
fun.
That was good.
No regrets at all, by the way. If you're
No.
listening to this and like it wasn't that terrible, it was just a growing year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
was fun.
had the best memories. Yeah, I got to know you on a whole different level to like when we played at West together, and like we just vibed. Like the joy and the laughter that came out of me that year was peaking. Never laughed so much in my life. Had so much fun. So much fun. Yeah,
It was fun.
the
All
glory
right.
days.
We have some questions for you. So Brooke Nicole, thanks for sending in a question, wants to know, how did you plan your move overseas? Did it take a lot of thought and planning? Olivia does not think or plan anything. She just goes. So there's your answer.
Yeah, pretty much, Brooke. No, I didn't really plan. I went with a suitcase.
I assume she's talking about the move to Durham, or maybe she means
Either or, really.
yeah, any of them.
It's usually suitcase. Got an idea of what it's going to look like or what I want
Pack
it to
your
look
B1.
like. Yep.
Your B2.
B2. But yeah, especially in England, it was very much like going for the wedding, going to see my family at Christmas, taking my suitcase, going to explore some options, come back if not. If it does, well, I packed a couple of jumpers, like we'll be all right, and wore Tony's clothes for a little bit, to be honest. Like I turned up to my trial in my dad's training jumper.
We just talk about Tony for 1 second, because I'm thinking about this comment that he made when he was in the apartment, and we were leaving the apartment, and I think your mum was like, "Oh, should we lock the balcony?" And then your dad's like, "Who's going to break in Spider-Man?" Because we lived on the fourth floor. 401.
Oh, 401. Yeah,
401. I just thought, even George still talks about that. I'm like, what? Why was that so funny for no reason?
He is the best.
Who's going to climb in and break in 4 stories? And if they can, take the free TV.
Yeah, literally. And the broken fridge.
Yeah.
And the broken washing machine. Take it all.
Take it all.
Yeah, Tony, what a guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad of the year, man. I can't say enough about Big T.
Oh, love it. Helen. Thanks, Mum. Big supporter here.
Yeah.
What pro sport would you play if it wasn't soccer? Football, Mum. Come on.
AFLW,
Yeah.
I reckon. Loved have played a little bit of footy.
AFLW, not AFL,
No.
straight to the top tier.
Yeah, we should professional.
Don't tempt.
Yeah,
honestly.
I know. Did a bit of.
I'm surprised we didn't both start playing footy last year.
I know. Well, I was going to go to a team, Brunswick or whatever.
That's right. That was
talking to the
yes,
coach.
because you're like, oh, I might play footy, and I'm like, Olivia,
I was like, well, it means I can stay here.
wake up.
And then didn't want to get the bus all the way to Brunswick, an hour and a half.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so probably footy.
Footy.
Probably I would like retirement me, like not as like teamy, would be probably running.
Yeah.
Once I get into it, at the moment I'm struggling. I've got a half marathon tomorrow.
Yeah, quickly talk about that.
So that's a whole different story, but a very close friend of mine, Rose, suffering with severe ME. Something my mum had actually as well.
What's ME?
Bit mild symptoms. It's obviously usually discussed in similar to chronic fatigue syndrome, but they really don't know what it's caused from or sort of any treatment. So there's not a proper treatment plan in any health system.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes certain treatments can exacerbate symptoms for some people or benefit other people. And with my mum, like with mild symptoms, but there is still days where she's like completely bedbound and in dark and severe migraines and just absolutely exhausted. But for Ro, she has like hyper light sensitivity and sound sensitivity. So has been for 2 years was like sleeping with, well, not even sleeping, but in a room with an eye mask, earmuffs on, completely bedbound, only just really managing to eat. And then now sort of been able to have her windows open, so slowly trying to find things, but that's taken 3 years. Like reflexology has helped Ro a little bit more, but like I said, she's still in them really severe symptoms. So she's 40 this year, so her partner Shauna set up a campaign, 40 for 40, to try and raise £40,000 to help with some of the treatment, because like I said, the health care system doesn't cover anything and lots of things get expensive. Also to give to research, because it is so underfunded and it's affecting like a lot of people. Like if you go on the Instagram, there's heaps of, we're sharing lots of information about it. But then also to support others with ME. So Shauna's working out kind of what that looks like, of how other families and people can be supported through the campaign. So I decided to do a half marathon in the off season, but untrained, because trying to fit training of a half marathon around soccer training and gym and stuff. So just rocking up tomorrow, 21 Ks, probably have no limbs after.
If anyone can, it's you, mate. Good on you.
Take it easy. Good on you. If you want to donate, everyone.
If you want to donate, head to Liv's Instagram
or at 40 for 40 campaign.
At 40 for
There's 2
40.
links, so for people that want to donate in dollars or not pounds. So
beautiful. Good on you.
So long distance running. Back to the question. I have a long distance running post retirement. Love to do marathon disables in the future, ultra marathon.
Ultra gal.
But footy, might try a bit of hockey. Yeah.
And Mum says most fun person you've ever lived with.
Obviously Nicole Blackett.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steaks will kill me.
Well, I mean, we
You
just
were-
chatted about
yeah,
it for half
yeah.
an hour, how much fun we had in
You
that
can't
house.
beat B1, B2.
No.
I've been really lucky with housemates, actually. Like, even my Durham housemate, Amy. Like, we got on really well. Like, vibed. I think you'd vibe with her.
Yeah?
You two would make excellent reels.
Damn, ship me over.
She's not bad on the content, to be fair.
When are you going back?
Couple of weeks.
All right, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Do it.
Costs
please.
will understand.
Yeah.
Brianne Reid, sweetheart. Shout out,
Brie.
Brianne. How's your season with Durham? And hi.
Hi. Really weird, actually. Sasha in my team was connected to Brie through the player network.
Oh, that little
And she was
thing
like,
they
I'm
do.
like this. And I was like, oh, I know Brie. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, Brie, season at Durham's going well. Has been a challenge, obviously, but that's what I wanted. I wanted something that was going to be hard and push me, multiple levels, you know, technically, physically, mentally. But yeah, really good, really happy with kind of the first few months, and really keen and ready to go into a fresh season, especially to be there from the start. Like, I'm quite socially awkward. People think I'm like quite extroverted and quite confident, but inside, like, you know,
I didn't never thought that about you.
I'm such an insecure human, like
Aww.
unbelievably insecure, especially in like relationships with people. So the first 2 years, everyone knows, most people listening to this will probably know who Stegs is, for the amount I talk about her. But the first 2 years of our friendship, like, I just thought she didn't like me, that we were kind of just friends. So even like being at Durham for the first few months, everyone's like, oh, Liv, you've settled in so well. Like, you're a breath of fresh air around here. Like, I'm coming in, bringing my energy. But like, I'm going home like overthinking everything, like exhausted from just being stressed, from like social anxiety, like, yeah. So now I feel like I've got that out of the way. Like, everyone knows a bit about me. I know the girls. Starting to make some really nice friendships there as well. Yeah, so really excited to go in and just be able to like bring my best self and yeah, just settle in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And score
Season
some bangers from the
number
midfield, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
All right, that is all. I'm going to do a quick little thing with you. Don't know how we're going for time, but anyway. Strap in, guys.
4 hours later.
So I'm going to just say like 10 attributes, I guess you can call them, about a player. And the first person that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Don't break my walls. Yep, I'll just elbow straight into the wall. Nice little decoration. Can we give the wall a hype up?
Can we have a round of applause for the wall?
You can't actually see. If I could be bothered, I'd get up and actually.
This one is my favourite up here.
Oh no.
No, keep going. Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm going to steal this at some point. I think I'm going to do it in my Durham room. Yeah, live.
Yes, and the best Premier League player at the moment, Phil Foden, got his little card up here. Thank you very much. Just wanted to add that in. Jackie Grealish left out of the Euros. Thoughts?
Are you good?
And why haven't I had a FaceTime call from him yet?
Are you good?
No.
Oh. No? Not good.
Oh, I thought you said, are you good?
Oh.
You said good.
Good.
Gutted.
Sorry. Gutted.
Gutted.
Yeah.
I am for him.
I mean,
because I know how much it means to him.
Look at that squad, though.
I know him personally, obviously.
Obviously.
The way I'm talking about him.
Look at the squad, though.
I know.
I'm surprised how many he's included. Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins as well, Jude, Harry Kane. That the forward line is stacked.
I know. I just feel like he's been included in the past.
He's probably
to be
been
honest,
in and out.
he's been in and out with injury, so but still, it's sad. Anyway, you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Enough about Jack Grealish.
Is this any player, or is that NPL players, NPLW players, or like any world player?
People you know.
Okay.
Like your mates. Okay.
So Jack Grealish.
Composed.
Leonardo.
Aggressive.
Josephine Trimboli.
Best attitude.
Amy Andrews.
Speedy.
Amy Andrews.
Quick feet.
Rachel Quigley.
Freakish touch.
Rachel Quigley.
Best free kicks.
Nicole Blackett.
Thank you very much. Rocket shots.
Nicole Blackett.
Thank you very much. Best in the air.
Victoria Brackenbury. Bracken. You don't know who that is, but anyway, I do.
Okay.
Karen.
Dominates, but with ease.
Ooh. Oh, Rachel Quigley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Okay.
Also Laura John, so casual.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Good one. All right. As we've got to go and meet Mum for coffee, apparently Liv's invited Mum to the cafe.
I've seen Helen in a while.
Yeah, it's because she's gone to England and she wants the ins and outs of England. All right. Olivia Bramley's dream team coming right up at goalkeeper.
Annie Grove.
Yep. How many at the back?
3.
3 at the back.
We're going to have an international transfer.
Yep.
With Charlotte Steggles coming in. That's one of my centre backs.
Yep.
Probably the middle one.
Okay.
Then I'm going to put Nano Sasaki in my back line as well.
Yep.
Thought she did really well when she played centre back for the Reds. We'll bring in Gem Dog. Gem McFarlane.
Gemma.
Yeah, yep.
She'll be stoked with that.
Yep. Big up Gem.
I can see her big smile already.
Yeah. I said to her she's wearing number 3 this year.
Yeah.
Big shoes.
Take pride in that.
She's doing pretty well though.
She is.
Scoring more than I ever did. Right, so then we need... Oh, this is tough. All right, Emily Hodgson, left wing back.
Yep.
Siobhan Eastham, right wing back. Big up Shiv.
On your Chevy.
I know.
I love Chevy.
Got to fit LJ into this team as well somewhere. So now I need... Oh, then I'm going to go Jenna McCormick.
As a 6?
6, yeah. She has blown me away for uni in the past couple of weeks.
She gone back now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's,
Good luck, Jenna.
She'd
be a good guest. Should have got her on. Oh, Jenna, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on, mate.
Let's put Rachel Quigley as a forward. So I could have 2 forwards, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Whack yourself on the left.
Oh, honoured.
Honoured. I'm going to put Laura Johns as my number 10.
Ooh. You should have heard her at training, right? She did like one good pass and she was like, oh, put me in the midfield. Because she was like running around in there. She cracks me up.
This is probably going to be the wackest team. Everyone's playing out of position. And we're going to put Anna Pritchard in.
Oh.
When she's not having a baby. Non-pregnant Anna Pritchard.
A babyless Pritch.
Yeah. So should we just go through that? So we've got Grove, Stegs, Nano, Gem Dog / myself.
Shiv. You can go on the bench.
All right.
Okay.
Shiv, right wing back. Emily Hodgson, left wing back. Jenna McCormick, my 6. Laura Johns, just in the midfield with Anna Pritchard. And then Nicole Blackett and Rachel Quigley up front. Who's my manager?
Yeah.
International transfer. Jenny Sugarman, please.
Good team. I will make that look a bit prettier. Don't you worry. And that will be uploaded to make people's days.
Yeah.
It has been quite a while since I've done a podcast, by the way. So thank you for joining us. Last little shout out. Olivia and Siobhan got engaged on the weekend.
Thank you. Did adult points.
Yes, you are growing up. Congratulations.
Yeah, big year.
Beautiful.
2024 is a big year.
Big year. We love that. All right. Any last words?
No, just thanks. Good to chat, as always.
Hope you enjoyed us rambling on some crap.
Yeah,
diving deep.
Understood my English accent as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, probably not, but it's okay. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe. Give us a like on Instagram. Peace.